Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Hi, everyone. It's Tracy Root with the Gather community, and I am here once again with the fabulous Caterina Rando. Caterina was our very first Gather community creator. She's such a support to me and such a love, and I'm so glad that we can be working together still after all this time. And it's time to get to know what's going on these days with Caterina. And what I want to say before I let you start is that I appreciate you and I'm so glad that you're in our community, and it just gives our whole group like this tie-in to recognize that we are here for fun. We are here to enjoy ourselves. We are here for business. We are here to make money. We're here for all of the good reasons, because you don't let us forget that even if you're making money, you have to be blissing in your business. So tell us, what is the latest and greatest with Caterina Rando?
Oh my gosh, what's the latest and greatest? Well, my friend, I have a couple dreams for my business, one of which is new. You've heard the other one, which we had to delay a little bit. My one dream is that I want to host a women's conference on a cruise ship, women's business conference. I don't know when that's going to be, but that's my one dream. My other dream is that I'm looking at the possibility of doing I'm kind of call it a business accelerator and adventure in Italy, probably next year. And that's as far as I've gotten, but I've always been very hesitant to go do something over there, even though I love to go there. I go there. I'm Italian. I just felt like, oh my gosh, it's such a big deal. But you know what? I'm really looking at how to have more fun in my business and how to have fun all the time in my business. And I think that that would be super fun. So those are my dreams. They're not goals yet because I haven't laid out my plans, but they're dreams, but hopefully they'll be goals soon.
I love it. Well, and we have talked about Italy, and I told you that I am very interested in how that's going to pan out for those of us who want to join you. So let's back up and tell me, when I first met you, the main thing you were teaching people at the time was how to do events and retreats. And the first big program that I joined with you was doing events and retreats, and it ended with a retreat at sea on the cruise ship, and so good. So walk everyone through who may not know the story from, you started coaching, but when did you start doing retreats, and why is Italy like, it's big, but it's doable because you've done so many retreats already. So like, walk us through that thought process.
Well, we've done 10, in January, when you come with me on the Bliss retreat for women leaders on a mission, that will be our 10th retreat that was specifically a retreat. Come and let's have a retreat together. That'll be number 10. Over about the last 12, or I guess if we add the pandemic, over the last 14 years. In addition to that, though, we've done a few retreats on how to do retreats. And then we've also done a few women business speaker retreats. And so if you put all that together, that's a lot of retreats. And the reason why I love retreats and I love teaching retreats is because it's good to get out of your regular everyday environment. Because when you go to a new environment, especially one where you don't have all of the daily to-dos, fold the laundry, empty the dishwasher, all that mishigas, and you have just you and your journal and your friends and maybe some classes, but somebody else is taking care of all the cooking. It allows time for you to reflect, get rejuvenated, do things that you wouldn't normally do, like go to the spa. And, when we have our retreats, I always like to have ladies come in and teach, yoga or meditation or some form of movement that we're not all familiar with. And all of this allows us to look at our business and our life with a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And that's really why I think it's very important, really as standard operating procedure, to get away a couple of times a year, if not more,
Yeah.
to reflect on your life and your business.
Yeah. That was the question I was going to ask you. Like, why is it important to get away, to have that, for me, it's the idea of kind of an intensive, right? Where
Mhm.
the only thing you're doing
Mhm.
is related to you and your business,
Right.
whether it's mostly you and a little bit of business, or
Right.
mostly business and a little bit, like,
Right.
depending on which one, it might be more one versus, the other. With the bliss
Mhm.
retreat, it's going to be more us, less
Mhm.
business, but of
Mhm.
course it'll be there because we
Right.
are our business.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, and what I want to say is that, also many of us run our business from home. So we're running our business on our own. And it's really wonderful to get together with other women on a mission, just like us, other women doing their business, share ideas, share resources, get support, make friends, get clients. It's all awesome and amazing and wonderful. And, I one day, Tracy, a lady said to me who had come on the last 10-day retreat that we did, she said, I did more business on the ship having a great time than I would have done if I was at home sitting in my office with my computer. And that's the other thing is, a lot of us do business with a computer, and of course now with Zoom and Facebook Live and virtual settings. But you know what? It's good to get knee to knee, face to face, live and in person. And when we do that, it's more relationship building, and that does result in more business.
Yeah. And it's like having the variety
Mhm.
allows you to think differently and to act differently, and kind of step out your norm, like you were
Mhm.
saying, right? Get out of your normal
Mhm.
day-to-day location, but also your day-to-day practices of
Right.
how do you show up in front of other people, and how do you share yourself with them and what you do with them, and how do you listen, all of the different ways to connect to people just changes when you're
Yeah.
in that kind of concentrated space.
Right. And to try new things. We've done veil
Yes.
dancing and we've done belly dancing. And last time I was on a ship, I did karaoke twice, which I don't have never really
You
done
did.
in 5 years before. Yeah. And of course, I'm thinking about how we're going to do that on the ship next time. We're going to have like a whole karaoke activity. Anyway, that's my plan. But it's like, and what happens when we do this is transformation happens. And that's, what's the difference between results and transformation? Results are when you grow your sales. That's a result, something new that's happening. But what's really awesome is transformation. And that's when we get to be different. And when we be different, that's like we see ourselves different. And that's
Okay, stop.
one of the awesome things that happens when you're on retreats is that transformation happens because you're in a new environment. Now, what is transformation? Transformation is when we see ourselves differently. Results are when we see something outside ourselves, like we see increased sales or we see we're booking more speaking. Those are results. Transformation is we see something inside ourselves different. I feel more confident. I'm able to use my voice more. I'm louder and prouder. I feel more like a queen of the universe when I walk in the room, right? These are all transformations that can happen when you come to a retreat and you're with people. And the other thing, Tracy, that I love, one of the things which I know you love too, is that when we're on the ship, we do an exercise called Say It to My Face, right? Where we have people say to our face the things that we hope that they're saying behind our back, right? Like,
Right.
you're fabulous, you're amazing, whatever it is. And I love that. I love that Say It to My Face. And I was actually
Just
going,
thinking about it, I'm like all, not
yeah,
nervous, but like emotional. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I was going over yesterday the agenda for our next retreat, and with Tracy, who comes and helps us on our retreats. And she said, Caterina, I see this say it to my face. It's like in 4 different places. She said, "Is that a mistake?" I said, "No, my friend, that's not a mistake. That's how we do it," right? Because when the more you can have people say what you really want them to say and what you hope they're saying,
Mhm.
guess what? The more you begin to be that and see that and believe that, and that is transformation.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you're going to do say it to my face more often, because it takes some time. It's very impactful, right? Like I'm emotional thinking about it right now, because because, since we've been on Zoom, it's very intense, right? We're face to face, straight on 100% of the time. You don't like get distracted and look over at other people. It's very intense. So I can imagine sitting now with a person in person, which would be crazy, kind of weird, and amazing, and having them say those kinds of things. And what I know is that that's where bold came from for me, was
Right.
at the end, and that whole having heard that and then being able to say, this is how I'm going to be different as a result. The result is the transformation. And so
Right.
that,
And
oh my gosh.
And my friend, you have been so much more bold. You have been so much more loud and proud. You have, your leadership has been amplified and shined through so much. It's not, no, I can't say it's cento per cento, 100%, because you
Well,
can't
for
have no
any of
retreat
us,
with
right?
me.
We all have little
Right.
things
But
we're
it's
working on.
all, we're always upgrading, right? And
Yeah.
the goal is to move, the other thing, that the big myth of like seminars
Come into a one-time thing.
is, right, that you come to a seminar, you're going to learn some stuff, it's going to change everything. And really the goal is not just to learn stuff, it's to master stuff. And so when we talk about being bold, being loud and proud, there's all these more layers, right? Like I've been teaching sales for several years now. And you know what? I feel like every year I get so much better, but I thought I was pretty good last year and the year before too, right? There's always another level of mastery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so, yeah, it's so impactful to have lived it. And now it's been 2.5 years since we got off the ship back in January of
Right
2020.
before the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, with our friends who were sick, getting off the ship is
Right.
crazy times.
Yeah.
And that was the day where I wrote bold on the sticker and said, I'm going to be more bold going forward. And
Right.
talk about needing exactly knowing how I was going to be different, because 3 months later, I needed to completely recreate the business.
Right.
And
Right. And we all
right?
did. That's the thing. We all
Everyone
did.
did. Yeah.
But guess what, Tracy? You and many of the ladies in our community did exactly that.
Yep.
They recreated or adjusted their businesses. Now guess what? There's a lot of mamas that didn't. There's a lot of mamas that let the pandemic be the reason they closed their business, or they went and got a job. Sorry for them, because they couldn't maybe they didn't have the belief in themselves that they could do it. Maybe they didn't have a community like we have, which I feel is one of the hugest gifts of my life, is a community of women, like-minded, like-hearted, all here to support each other. You've got your community, I've got my community, we have our communities together.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I want every woman on the planet to have that. And if she doesn't have that, she can find one, or she can create her own. But there's this, a lady said to me today, in fact, because I just finished my 9-week Thrive at Sales class. And she said to me, well, Caterina, now I know what to do. I just need to go do it. And I said to her, sweetheart, why would you think, I said it nice. I said it nicer than I'm saying right now. Okay. But I said, sweetheart, why would you think you're supposed to go do it by yourself? Why don't you keep hanging out with us and have some ongoing support and some ongoing guidance and a structure that's going to keep you focused and give you encouragement and keep you moving, and be an amazing community where you're going to leave more uplifted every time than when you showed up. This idea that we're supposed to do it by ourselves, what psycho person created that idea? Because it's way more fun in community. It's way more effective in community, and it's way more life enriching. And
Yes.
that's the point I really want to make, because a lot of people feel like they got to do it by themselves. And it's from their upbringing often, or their how they've been acculturated, or older messages that they got. Let's not do that. Let's do it together. Way more fun,
Yeah.
way more awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I think that the idea of doing it by yourself and perfection, those all go hand in hand, right? I have to do it. I have to do it right. No one can help me. No one can do it for me. Like all of those nasty messages that are my old messages, right? To get rid of those and brush them aside and recognize that it's better, it's more fun and more effective and more efficient and more when you get to connect with other people along the way and do it together. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, super grateful for you for all of that community, because that, I mean, I was very much a Lone Ranger style person, you know, maybe not right when I met you, but you know, in my childhood and young adulthood, definitely the way I used to be, and having that transition into prioritizing being with other people and starting there and starting with there being more than just me, as opposed to, okay, I'm failing by myself, so now I have to find people. Start with the people, and go from there. Yeah, beautiful.
And you know, my friend, you've heard me say your business is supposed to be your bliss. And one of the things that will make you bliss more in your business, well, of course, more sales. But the other thing is, you know, being in community and having people to do stuff with, collaborating. Some of the ladies in my class today, they said, hey, I want to give a shout out to these 3 gals that they're collaborating with and they're blissing. You know, that's what we want.
Yeah, fantastic. And the collaboration, like structure of partnering, you know, a lot of us are teaching workshops or doing classes or whatever, but to do collaborative events, which I'm really, we're doing now with the Gather community, and it's so fun to, you know, the cross promotion and everyone talking about how great each other are. Like, it's just, it's beautiful. It's uplifting, it's fun, and it feels good to us to tell them how great they are, and feels good for them to hear it. And then everyone reciprocates and everyone's happy. So it's
awesome.
Great. Yeah. Love
Bing,
it.
bing.
Bing, bing. Okay, my friend. So we have been talking lots of great things, and this video is going to come out here in August. And of course, it'll be around for a while. So I know you have some things coming up in September and towards the end of 2022. But tell people not only like what's coming up Q3, Q4, but in general, what should they watch out for? How can you help them really have bliss in their business?
Well, what I'm all about is authentic selling, embracing speaking to grow your business because you build Insta influence, and also teaching women how to be more strategic in their business. Because some women, again, you know, how we were acculturated, we just, hey, let's just do it ourselves, rather than really thinking and planning and strategizing. We want to do that. As you know, there's 5 things that I think are your job: speaking, selling, serving your clients outstandingly, strategy, and self-care. And those are really the things that we emphasize in our community. And the first thing, though, is you need to learn how to sell. Because if you can't sell, you can't serve. And, you know, another thing, I had a lady say to me today, she said, you know, I thought that selling was tacky in my profession. And she said, now I don't feel that way. Now she recognizes if you can't sell, you can't serve. And so we want to teach ladies not just how to sell, but how to master selling. And I do have a couple of 9-week Thrive at Sales programs coming up in October. We're starting 2 in October. And the thing that I always say to people, hey, come and hang out with me for a free workshop. I got a couple free workshops in August. I won't want to have one in September because I'm going to be in Italy in September. But we'll have one in early October, I'm sure. And come and hang out and see if you get massive value, because I know you will. Every time I have a Zoom room for our workshops, everyone gets massive value. They're free. And the other thing I want to mention, Tracy, is that we have CaterinaRando.com/links where you can get some free resources. You can get the mid-year refresh and reboot. You can get your free ebook on how to get booked for speaking. There's a video on how to get more smiles on the screen at your virtual workshops, all kinds of things. CaterinaRando.com/links.
Yeah, and we'll put it in the comment because it's on YouTube. So we'll put it in the
Awesome.
description on YouTube for sure. Yeah. And then, and then you have the Vampire Summit, which comes up later in early,
in October, we have our Expand Your Vampire.
That's in October too. Gosh.
Yeah, and that's all about us, all about being more strategic in your business and more about sales and systems. And that's the thing, is we want to run our business like a business. And some gals, they need a little support with that. They're doing something, but I wouldn't necessarily call it running their business like a business. And we want to make some upgrades there. And then in December, we have our Thrive with Women's Retreats program that starts, which is the revamp of the program you did a while back, my friend.
Yeah, it's exciting.
All about how to do retreats for women. And we start in December, and then in April, we go on a retreat, because you can't teach retreats without going on a retreat.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do that. And the other thing I do, there's more, but the other thing I do is in January, I am teaching my Thrive at Sales Train the Trainer program, which you've taken, my friend, which is a great class to teach business coaches like yourself how to teach sales to their people, because the first thing any business coach wants to be teaching their people is how to sell.
Yeah. And it was a fantastic program. I was an instant yes for that. I think you even told me about it a year before you even put it together, because I knew that was not only going to help me master my selling more, because once you feel like you can teach it, then you really feel like you know it, right?
Exactly.
And so that mastery just feels so much more substantial. And whether or not you're actually doing the teaching, which I don't have a sales class going on right now, but I feel so much more like it's so much more internalized. And I know that anyone out there who's looking for clients or trying to sell their products or whatever it is that they have, it's just such an amazing up level for their skills. It's great. So yeah, highly recommend.
Thank you, Tracy. And the thing is, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be teaching 3 sales classes at the same time. You can teach once or twice a year to serve your clients and of course bring in new clients.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Fabulous. Any final words before we wrap up for today?
Yes. Final words. Tracy, every time we get together, it makes me bliss, because I see you using your voice for good. I see you uplifting other women. And I want to encourage everyone who's watching to amplify your voice. Your voice matters. And the more you use your voice, the more impact you can have in the world and uplift more lives. Yes. Bing, bing, bing.
Yay, bing, bing. Thank you, my friend. So glad to have you here once again today. And thank you so much for everything that you've done for me. I could never thank you enough.
Bing, bing.
Wow. Bing, bing. All right. Thanks. See you later.